power. We got to talk about power very quickly. Husk Power Systems, leading net zero energy services company, back in March of this year, invited governments in sub-Saharan Africa to partner in scaling community solar mini-grids in order to achieve sustainable development goal number 7. The company proposed to finance the building of 200 mini-grids in or more local communities in Africa, which represents a new vision and follows Husk's Energy Compact signed in 2022, in which Husk Power is committed to building 5,000 mini-grids by the year 2030. We have from our Abuja studios, Manoj Sinha, who is the CEO, co-founder of Husk Power Systems. Good evening to you, sir. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. All right, so again, we're going to be talking about power. He's going to be joining us any minute from now. And of course, power is very, very important. You had the news, of course, earlier on today, or was it yesterday, that Siemens says that their electricity goals for Nigeria have been pushed back from 2025 to 2030 because of COVID-19 and a whole lot of other issues. So as far as the electricity supply in Nigeria is concerned, there is a lot that still needs to be done on a number of fronts, and the mini-grids are very, very important. The Electricity Act has been signed, or rather the bill that's now an act by President Tinubu, that's of course in play. All right, we do have the head of Husk with us. Yes, there he is, CEO, co-founder of Husk Power Systems. Thank you so much for joining us, sir. Good evening. Can you tell us briefly about your activities at Husk Power Systems in the first half of 2023?
Thank you for having me. The first half of 2023 has been fantastic for us. We are the first mini-grids to complete 200 mini-grids in the first quarter, in fact, of 2023, which makes us the largest mini-grid operator in the world with assets in India and Nigeria. So it has been fantastic. We also won AI for the Planet to solve energy access and energy transition problems that affects 3 billion people using AI, which has been also very exciting.
Well done.
So it has been overall very exciting first half of 2023.
How much more are you doing in the power sector for frontier economies, I guess, such as Nigeria?
So Nigeria, of course, we are a team of 100 people now. We started with a team of 1 back in 2020, so we are expanding quite rapidly. Our ambition for Nigeria was 500 mini-grids over the next 5 years or so. We have now doubled that target to 1,000 mini-grids. In addition to that, we are entering the markets like DRC, probably by the end of this year or early next year, and our ambition there also is to build another 500 mini-grids over the coming 5 to 6 years. So our ambition is quite high, but achievable in the sub-Saharan Africa, and definitely Nigeria is our hub to expand.
So about your current visit to Nigeria and of course your team, what new deals are you signing, and who are you looking to work with on the ground here?
Absolutely. So I was just in the field in Lafia region of Nasarawa state a few days ago. The excitement in the areas that we serve is palpable. We are looking at building interconnected mini-grids as we speak in that state with partners in that state. So we are signing some deals as we speak with a local disco to install IMG or interconnected mini-grids in the recent future.
Now, of course, you recently met with the new World Bank President, Ajay Banga, as well as Tony Elumelu of Transcorp Group. Can you tell me about any of these meetings, what could come out there? Because he's in the power sector as well. That's, of course, Tony Elumelu himself.
Absolutely. So it was just an honor and pleasure to be invited to a roundtable conference hosted by the World Bank President, Ajay Banga, and facilitated by our Nigeria's own CEO of SE for All, Damilola. We really looked at the entire value chain of energy that happens in Nigeria, from power generation to even gas, as well as from the discos down to mini-grids. And what was really important is the World Bank, and in this case, President Ajay Banga, was trying to understand what all problems exist in the whole value chain and how we can bring power to everybody, all 200 plus million Nigerians, and also accomplish energy transition simultaneously. So it was a very productive conversation. The World Bank has promised to provide capital subsidies for 1,000 mini-grids that matches interestingly with our new ambitions of doing 1,000 mini-grids.
All right.
on Transcorp Power with...
Yeah, go right ahead. Yes, on Transcorp.
If I may.
Yes,
on
please.
Transcorp Power. On Transcorp Power, it was a pleasure to meet with Mr. Tony Elumelu in person. That he's an inspiration of mine. But more importantly, he is also very keen to solve the problem using and looking at the whole integrated energy value chain. And these are initial conversations, so I cannot talk too much about it. But there is a potential for partnership to address the energy need and energy transition for this country.
Excellent. So 1,000 seems to be the magic number between the World Bank goals and yours as far as the mini grids are concerned. You got something cooking in the oven with billionaire Tony Elumelu. So how quickly do you think Nigeria can ramp up its power sustainability? And what's the outlook on the rest of 2023 as we wrap up briefly if you can?
So the things that need to ramp up and provide electricity or reliable electricity to 200 plus million people include policy, which I think this country has one of the best policies that I have seen. A large amount of capital, which is what the World Bank is going to help provide and catalyze private capital to the tune of tens of billions of dollars. And thirdly, reforms that has to happen in the disco sector. There is a consensus that has to happen, and that has to happen now, not tomorrow. So these are the things, and last but most importantly, it's the people that make it happen. And Nigeria, my team, is just unbelievably talented and high energy. If we combine these four forces together, there is nothing that will stop anybody or any of us to make the whole electrification happen in 10 years or so.
Fantastic stuff. I like the pun. Your team is high energy and you're in the energy space. Thank you so much for joining us. Manoj Sinha, CEO, co-founder of Husk. Appreciate your time. All right.